Hey everybody, this is Nancy Norbeck. I am here with this week's Creative Pep Talk. And this week I want to talk to you about something that is so basic and fundamental that I honestly can't believe that I haven't done a pep talk about it before. And it's just this: you're normal. I know that might sound a little bit strange. What does being normal have to do with your creative process or, any other process that you're involved in of trying to accomplish anything? But the thing is, it has a lot to do with it. And I think I probably have touched on this in pieces in, different contexts through these pep talks, but I've never specifically talked about the fact that you're normal. All of the things that I talk about in the podcast and in the pep talks as creative blocks are things that happen to everybody. They happen to all of us. In fact, the inciting incident for this pep talk for me was the sudden realization about a week ago that the reason I haven't gotten anything done on a particular project that I want to put together to share with all of you is that I forgot to break it into small enough steps that it didn't feel intimidating and daunting and like something I didn't want to do. Guys, this is Kaizen Muse Creativity Coaching 101. Like literally, one of the first things that we learn is to break things into small steps. But even before that, we learn that all of this is normal. If it can happen to me, and I've gone through the training, and there's a part of me saying I should know better, but look, we're all human. That's the point. It's going to happen to you. It probably happens to everybody you know. It's just that it's not the kind of thing that we talk about, whether it's not breaking things down into small steps, giving into perfectionism, having trouble with procrastination, just plain being scared of what might happen if you fail or if you succeed, any of the other things that we've talked about in these pep talks, and a number of things that we haven't gotten to. Every single one of them is a normal part of the creative process. They happen to everyone. Now, as much as there is that voice in my head, because again, I am as human as everybody else, that says to me, good grief, girl, how did you miss this? You should have known better. The fact is, it happens to all of us because we're all human. Anybody can forget even the things that they know. These blocks are blocks for a reason. This is why creativity coaching exists. None of us are actually some kind of strange freak who's never, who's stuck in some process, in some block that no one has ever experienced before. That's not true. The blocks come up the same for everybody. They may look different for you than they look to somebody else, but the core issues sitting underneath them are the same thing. And the ways to get around them and deal with them so that you can get past the sleeping dog that you're afraid to wake up are the same for everybody. You're not weird. There's not something wrong with you if you're stuck in your process and you can't figure out how to get started again. If you've hit the same block that you've hit 27 times in the last month and you're convinced that you're never going to get around it, none of that's true. All of these things are surmountable. There are ways to deal with them. But the first and most important one to recognize is that every single one of them is normal, and so are you. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just an ordinary part of the process. Thinking that there's something wrong with you is sort of like going on a road trip and thinking every time that you hit a red light that you've done something wrong. Could be a red light, could be traffic, could be your car breaks down. It doesn't matter. All of those things can be a normal part of going somewhere. Hopefully your car's not breaking down all the time, but traffic and stoplights and things, they're just part of the process. Sometimes it's good to have something that slows you down like that for a while. But whether it's good or whether it's frustrating, the fact remains that it's a normal part of getting from point A to point B, and your creative process is no different. So if you've been telling yourself that you're blocked and therefore there's something wrong with you, that you're the weirdest person who ever tried to do anything creative and there's nothing to be done, you're doomed because you're blocked and you don't know what to do, I really want you to understand that that's not true. That's a big part of why I'm here and do what I do, is that I love helping people get unstuck. That's why I created the Creative Tune-Up Kit, which you'll find a link for in the show notes for this episode. And it's not expensive, and you can sit down and work through it in a couple hours if you really want to. I recommend taking longer so that you can really sink into the exercises, but that's what it's there for. And it's a great taste of how Kaizen Muse coaching works and how I work. But I'm also available for coaching. I'm here with these pep talks to help you out. That may be all you need. But the thing I really want you to get is there's nothing wrong with you. All of this is normal. You are normal. You are not a weirdo freak. And you can do this. I promise you can do this. Check out the resources that I have available. Check out the other pep talks. The episodes that I have with interviews with people have a lot of insight in them too. Sit down with your journal and write about why you think you're not normal. What scares you? What's scaring you about your block? What do you think will help get you around that block? You tend to know more than you think you do. And a lot of times it's not until we put it on paper that we really figure out what we know. Any or all of those things. And if you need me, you know where to find me. So remember that you're normal. You're not a weirdo. You're not a freak. All of these things have happened before, and all of them have happened again. To quote Battlestar Galactica, they will happen to you. They will happen to everybody because they're normal. Think on that. And I hope if you're feeling stuck right now, that it helps you to get yourself unstuck, because sometimes the biggest thing that we need is just to realize that there's not actually an excuse to beat up on ourselves. So take that, think on it. I hope that it helps, and I'll talk to you next time.